The map don't show where I operate. The GPS don't know this exit by name. 18-wheelers passing like they don't see me, but the corridor knows, and the corridor claims I've been here since before the rest stop got repainted, since before the diner changed its sign. Been stretching nothing between two forgettable cities, been mine before I ever drew the line. Nobody writes about what happens in the corridor. No journalist came out to the fourth pump. The county doesn't even log what moves here at night, just the hum of diesels and the distant thump. They think the game lives in the big city spotlights, in the zip codes where the cameras never sleep. But power doesn't need an audience to be power, and Dominion doesn't always need a street. The map don't show where I operate. The corridor don't need to be on the map. Every truck that passes is a witness with no memory. Every mile between here and there is a fact. I watched 3 operations rise and collapse in the cities. Watch federal pressure empty out the bright lit zones. While out here in the diesel corridor, the silence was the insulation that protected what I owned. The nights runs the diner window second shift, knows every regular by the car they drive, knows which ones stop for coffee and which ones linger, knows which ones knock twice to know they're staying alive. The motel on the left is 14 rooms in use. The motel on the right is 10 more off the books. The corridor doesn't sleep, it just slows its breathing down to a frequency no surveillance hook can catch from the interstate at 65. The corridor runs its own frequency, and I've been calibrated to that frequency since before the county thought to check the third pump. The map don't show where I operate. The GPS don't know this exit by name. But everything that passes through here pays its toll, and everything that settles here knows who to name. Phantom roads have phantom kings, unnamed exits have unnamed thrones. The corridor gave me everything the city charged for, and kept me out of everything the city owns. I'm the sovereign of nothing they can label, the lord of the stretch they never lit. The diesel corridor runs 300 miles of silence. I've been running it since before the last shift. The map don't show where I operate, never will, and that's the whole design. The corridor knows, the corridor remembers. Every phantom sovereign knows to keep his silence fine. The corner of Western and whatever cross street it is at 2:30 has every category of person that the city produces through the night. The club escapee in the elevated footwear, the hospital worker finishing the overnight that doesn't square with any glamour but deserves the same burrito. The college kid deciding between the lingual and the polio. The couple who argued somewhere earlier and found that hunger is a reasonable ceasefire, a common ground. The taqueria at 2:30 is a democracy that doesn't announce itself, it just performs the accuracy of what happens when enough people are hungry at the same time. And there is one good place open, and the good place has a line. The corner of Western at 2:30 is the most accurate address in the city for what's true. Club escapee and hospital worker and the couple who argued. Everyone ends here. The taqueria doesn't filter,
it just stays open.
And the line is the whole sociology. I've been coming to this corner since I moved to the east side, since before the east side was a brand, before the slide of everyone from everywhere decided it was interesting and priced the people out who made it worth glistening in the first place. The taqueria survived all of that. It survived the development in the coffee shop and the Mac of new demographics rolling over the neighborhood. Because the taqueria at 2 a.m. belongs to whoever's good and hungry and present. That is the only filter it runs. Everyone else self-selects, the pretense comes undone. In the ordering line when you're 4 people deep behind a man in scrubs ordering for his whole floor, and you find that you have absolutely nothing more important to do than wait, which is the truth.
Anyway,
at 2:30, the corner of Western at 2:30
is the most accurate address in the city.
For what's true, the man in scrubs ordering for his whole floor.
You have nothing more important to do than wait behind him.
And that's the truth.
The night has given you everything it was going to give. The night has given you everything it was going to give. And now you're in the line deciding how to live.
For the next 20 minutes in the plastic chair, with the salsa verde and the horchata in the glare, with the fluorescent light, it flatters no one and requires nothing from you except appetite.
Which the West Coast night fires
continuously, in everyone it touches, it makes you hungry for the company of strangers and an underfunded,
overly trusty
neighborhood counter service situation where the tortillas are pressed fresh and the conversations are the realest. I've had the best conversations of my year at this counter, the most honest assessment of what's working and what isn't, from people I'll never see in any other context.
The corner of Western at 2:30 is the most accurate address in the city. For what's true,
it brings everyone to the same line eventually, and the burrito, and it's always fine.
And the truth at the end is always fine.
The highway at dawn is a signal from nowhere. Arriving into something that won't hold a name. The sun comes up the same across the diesel corridor. The resort town, the inlet, the exurban plain. I've been driving since before the first light hit the windshield, since the last room in the last town closed its eyes, and the map still don't show where I operate, never will, and that's the whole design. 14 years of phantom latitude behind me, 14 years of off-season boardwalk and the gravel road sublime of the inlet gospel and the exit sovereign and the border of the resort town pre-season. All of it is mine, and none of it is listed. The highway at dawn is a signal from nowhere, arriving into something that won't hold a name. 14 years of phantom latitude, none of it listed, none of it registered. The signal from nowhere is the only kind I trust. Nobody else is broadcasting on this frequency. The signal from nowhere is the only kind I trust. The frequency that nobody else is broadcasting is the frequency that carries everything I've built without a static interruption, without the recasting of what I am into something recognizable to anyone who runs the registered addresses of the visible economy. I am not in that catalog. I am the gap between its definitions and its processes. The car knows this highway, knows it by the way the bass sits differently in different air pressure zones, crossing state lines. Knows it by the way the night relaxes in the morning without a ceremony, just to shift the light in time. Amber still runs the diner at exit 31. Renata walks the corridor with the same precision. Terrell holds the inlet roster in his understanding, and Jacinda at the border makes her own decision. Every morning what they do continues without me. The phantom infrastructure runs its own of permanence.
The highway at dawn is a signal from nowhere.
Arriving into something that won't hold a name.
Amber, Renata, Terrell, Jacinda. The infrastructure runs its own maintenance. Every unnamed stretch I drive is another kind of permanence, and the signal keeps coming.
But I am not a signal that needs to be found. I am the signal from nowhere, that is the whole point. The corridor receives me, the inlet knows I'm coming. The off-season boardwalk will open at the joint of pre-season and arrival. And I walk the boards alone in the October fog, with the ocean and the seagulls and the Ferris wheel that stopped, because the summer crowd dissolved. And I feel the same thing I always feel in the gap between the legal and the phantom. The deep and certain comfort of being precisely where no one expected me to be.
The maps still don't show where I operate, never will. And that's exactly why I'm still here.
The highway at dawn is a signal from nowhere.
And the signal from nowhere is the only home I've known. The resort towns and the inlet, and the corridor and the diesel, and the border gap, and the gravel road, and the throne.
Thunder Bay,
Thunder Bay,
the Thunder Bay don't make the magazine when they list the cities. The lifestyle prince runs Miami, Toronto, and the pretties. But nobody talks about what happens on the lake-bound borderline, when two countries' attentions gap. That gap is mine. I sit the throne in Thunder Bay, the city at the top of things, where the lake goes on forever and the winter calendar brings 6 months of the world contracting inward to its own affairs. And in that contraction, and that pulling in, and that who cares? I built something that doesn't need the summer to sustain it. I built something that the winter and the isolation train it to be efficient and discreet and warm, with warmth is currency. And in Thunder Bay in February, warmth is everything that's free. The border's 40 minutes south, I know it by the cadence of which vehicles approach at certain hours, with impatience, with Canadian plates and American cards, and these that are bilingual. And in the gap between the jurisdictions, I provide the signal. Thunder Bay don't make the magazine,
but Thunder Bay made me.
gave me room enough to build the border 40 minutes south.
Thunder Bay,
Two jurisdictions gapping.
Jacinda handles the Canadian side. The throne sits in the indecision between legal systems.
Jacinda handles logistics on the Canadian side of the operation. Has done so since before I understood the full configuration of what this border geography offers to someone with vision. A throne that sits between two legal systems. Indecision. Thunder Bay is 9 months of the year that it belongs to its own internal logic and its own traditional songs. A mining and a shipping and a hockey and a cold. And the cold, the operation runs more freely and more bold, because the cold keeps the curious away, keeps the press away, keeps the franchise operations and the normalization at bay, keeps the city in its own world long enough for me to build what the warmer cities burn through, what the winter city feel. The city itself has a raw beauty that I come to understand. The grain elevators on the bay, the ice rolls, the red clay land, the robins that arrive in April like the very first proof of thaw. And in the thaw, Jacinda and I recalibrate the law of our own jurisdiction, not the legal kind, the kind that knows which motel strip takes clientele when the winter snowpack goes, which venue on the harbor front is backroom arrangements stand, and which casino shuttle makes the border run without demanding. Thunder Bay don't make the magazine,
but Thunder Bay made me.
gave me room enough to build.
Nobody came up from the south with anything but a mention of how far, how cold.
I arrived in nowhere
and built it into something worth presiding. Thunder Bay is mine,
because nobody claimed it with intention.
nobody came up from the south
with anything but a mention of how far it is, how cold,
how much and nowhere it resides in.
And I arrived in nowhere,
and I built it into something worth presiding.
I'm the sovereign of the
the city at the top of the Great Lake of the 40 below winners and the arrangements that we make of the border gap that runs in two directions without asking. And Jacinda counts the ledger while the lake keeps cold and lasting. Thunder Bay don't make the magazine,
but Thunder Bay made me.
gave me room enough to build
Without the weight of visibility,
the city at the top of things where the lake meets the sky gray.
and the throne I hold is phantom.
But the throne is Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay, 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 Bay.
With the West Coast night, coast night, coast night, coast night.
The West Coast night.
The West Coast night has a different kind of gravity.
It pulls the right ones closer and dissolves the rest. The bonfire was a party at 11, by 1 o'clock. It was 6 of us in embers in the Atlantic, no, the West. I always confuse my oceans when the coast has this much dark. When the water doesn't end and doesn't stop and doesn't ask what we came here for, who we brought, what we thought the fire would deliver. The fire always burns too fast. The scar the bonfire leaves is a circle in the sand, ringed with blackened wood and the geography of ash. Where the chairs were and the cooler and the voices carrying up to the cliffs above, where nobody could see through the flash of what we were at midnight, before the temperature dropped, before the ones who needed sleep or somewhere else to be packed their things and said the kind of goodbye that means I'm glad I came, I'm glad you stayed, I'm glad we were here at the same time on the same strip of sand, before it all runs out and runs back out to sea.
The West Coast night has a different kind of gravity. It pulls the right ones closer and dissolves the rest.
The ones who left before too were the ones the bonfire couldn't hold.
The ones still here are still here,
because the gravity already told there's a cost to being here. When the bonfire scar is all that's left, when the last of the orange has surrendered to the dark, when the ocean sounds louder because everything is stilled and the only light is what the stars provide to the unmarked perimeter of us. 6 people in the Pacific in the ash, and nobody is checking time or calculating distance home, because the West Coast night holds you if you let it, and the ones who let it always find they're not alone. Layla pulled her knees up and said nothing for 10 minutes. Just watched the water like it owed her something it had kept from her for the last year. I didn't ask what, I just watched the same water and felt the same intercept.
The West Coast night has a different kind of gravity. It pulls the right ones closer and dissolves the rest.
Layla in the water, in the water, in the water, and the question that the Pacific keeps.
None of us asked for this,
and none of us are leaving until the coast answers. Of the coast in the dark, and the question that the Pacific asks every time it reaches the shore and recedes again. The question doesn't have a word, it has a feeling like the bonfire scar, still warm beneath the rain that hasn't come yet, but the clouds suggest it's coming. A feeling like the coast knows something we're still learning.
The West Coast night has a different kind of gravity. It pulls the right ones closer and dissolves the rest.
The bonfire is ash, the clouds are forming, the question is still running, and the scar in the sand is still warm, and it's still burning.
The West Coast night.
The driveway. The driveway. The driveway at 11:30 on a Saturday in Watts is where the West Coast actually lives, not the plots that the magazine runs about the culture emerging from below the radar. The driveway is the surgeon, source of everything the culture eventually becomes when it gets discovered. The driveway is the drums before the studio, the blueprint before the brand, the cookout before the industry learned to understand what it was and package it and sell it back at a premium to the same neighborhood that the track ran through when it was just somebody's uncle's music. Too loud for the block captain who never could reduce it, because you can't reduce a driveway Saturday. It runs on its own physics. It occupies the way the block was always gonna occupy itself when it had nowhere else to be and needed to be itself. The driveway at 11:30 on a Saturday in Watts is where the West Coast actually lives, not the magazine, not the discovery narrative. The driveway is the drums before the studio, the blueprint before the brand, and the block captain's power has limits at the driveway edge. DeAndre had the speaker system on the porch by 8, and by 11 the street was already at the weight of capacity, not crowded, just full in the way that a good Saturday fills everything within its range of sway. The folding chairs were from 3 different households. The cooler was community property that every winter holds in DeAndre's garage, and every summer gets borrowed out to whoever's hosting. That's the West Coast, without a doubt. The driveway doesn't need a theme. The theme is Saturday. The theme is the block knowing what a Saturday in Watts has always meant. You gather and you don't explain the gathering, you don't justify it a campaign for its significance. It is significant because it happens, because the block agrees that it does something for the community that no venue can replicate with its lighting design and its curated playlist and its gate. The driveway at 11:30 on a Saturday in Watts is where the West Coast actually lives. DeAndre speaker by 8. The cooler from 3 households, the street full by 11. The block agrees, this is significant. No lighting design required, no gate policy. The driveway policy is you live here, or you're from here, or you're known by someone who is here. And that's the whole architecture of the invitation, and within it the whole architecture of the West Coast nation that built this culture before the nation had a name for it, before the labels had a category or a claim for it, before the aesthetic was extracted and reapplied to advertising and lifestyle and every amplified version of the thing that was first just this. A driveway in Watts at 11:30. The speaker on the porch, the folding chairs, and DeAndre turning up the bass.
The driveway at 11:30 on a Saturday in Watts
is where the West Coast actually lives. It was here before the article, the discovery narrative, the brand. It'll be here, celebrating the night it survived. And the bass is still up, still up, still up, still up, still up, The Venice canvas. The Venice canvas never dried. It's been wet since the 60s. Since the beatniks painted murals and the bikers made the city uncomfortable with the aesthetic collision of beauty and confrontation. Venice absorbs it all into its duty as the most democratic square mile of West Coast expression. Every surface is a gallery without a submission process. Every skater on the concrete after midnight is a composer working in the only language that fits right for what needs to be said at this hour. The body moving through space at speed is a sentence, is a proving of something about physics and intention in the will to make the concrete responsive to your skill.
The Venice canvas never dry.
It's been wet since the 60s and it's running still tonight. Beatnik murals, biker energy. Every surface a gallery without a submission process.
Wet since the 60s.
And the skater at midnight is still adding to it. I came to Venice after the clubs because the clubs got loud in the wrong way. Loud with performance, loud with crowd management, loud with the machinery of people making sure they're seen. Venice has no steeple of ambition pointing at the sky to mark the location of the most important gathering. Venice has no station that confers significance on those who arrive. Venice just absorbs you into its perpetual drive toward expression that doesn't require an audience to justify itself. The mural on the wall is just as glorious at midnight when no one looking as it is at noon. When the tourists photograph it, the canvas in the room that Venice provides for all of it runs runs 24, because the ocean doesn't close and the concrete floor of the skate park doesn't require a permit past 11. And the spray can in the artist bag contains everything she needs to continue the conversation she was having with the wall at 7 p.m. when the light was good for drafting the outline. At midnight she's working to fill the color that the outline was always meant to spill.
The Venice canvas never dry.
It's been wet since the 60s and it's
Running still tonight.
The clubs got loud in the wrong way. I came to Venice
Because Venice doesn't require
an audience to justify itself.
the mural at midnight.
With no one looking, it's just as glorious as the mural at noon with the tourists. And I'm watching because this is what Venice provides after midnight. Free admission to the strut and the craft and the unrepeatable particular decision that the artist makes at the junction of what she planned and what the wall suggested. Venice listens to its walls, and the walls talk back. The boardwalk ran at 5 p.m. with muscle and commerce, and the tourist and the vendor in the circus of the daylight version. What runs at midnight belongs to the ones who stay. The skater finishing his run, the painter who paid attention to the wall long enough to understand what color it needed, the musician with no band but a portable speaker and enough for the night left.
The Venice canvas never dry.
It's been wet since the 60s and it's
Running still tonight.
The West Coast's greatest contribution was the understanding that expression doesn't require a gate.
Venice never dry.
Because creation doesn't wait. And tonight, it's still going. And tonight, it's still going. The Pacific doesn't clock out.
When the city tries to sleep,
It keeps its own schedule.
at the depth it chooses to keep.
Yeah, running the tide at 4 in the morning pulls the same way they pulled at noon when the sun is full. Intensity was turning everything it touched to declaration of warmth and possibility. The Pacific's administration of the coast runs without a break, without a season off, without acknowledging the difference between the soft gray beginning of the morning and the blue-black deep of the night that just concluded. The water doesn't keep the distinction, it just keeps coming in and going back without asking what the city built along its back. The Pacific doesn't clock out when the city tries to sleep. It keeps its own schedule at the depth it chooses to keep. The tide at 4 in the morning pulls the same weight as noon. The Pacific holds no record of the night. The bonfire's ash, the rooftops view, the driveway speaker, the ocean receives it all. The West Coast night has a different kind of gravity that I mentioned at the beginning, when the bonfire was still something other than ash, when the desire to gather on the sand was its own answer to the question of what to do with the Saturday. Now the question has been answered and the answers are dissolving into the 4 a.m. tide that is quietly resolving everything the night put forward with the hydraulics and the hilltop and the harbor and the optics of the rooftop with the city spread beneath it. And the Venice canvas in the driveway beneath it. All the Pacific receiving what the night produced. The Pacific doesn't clock out when the city tries to sleep. It keeps its own schedule at the depth it chooses to keep. The hydraulics in the hilltop and the harbor, look, the rooftop and the Venice canvas and the driveway, all receive. The Pacific runs underneath every party, every motion. And it was always the whole point. The way the ocean has always introduced itself to the morning as the one constant, the one process that runs under everything. The honest accounting of the continent against the water, and the water against the continent in the quarter.
Light before the sun confirms the east. I stand at the same shore where it began, at least. The shore that runs parallel to all of it. The coast that holds the west coast night against its coast and lets it play out and then pulls it back to sea. The way the tide pulls everything that tried to be permanent back into the temporary. The Pacific is the most patient teacher of what's specific to this place. That the beauty is proportional to the impermanence, that the gravitational pull of the west coast night is the pull toward the ocean that runs underneath every party, every motion of the hydraulics at Imperial, every spray can at Venice, every folding chair, every plan that became a Saturday gathering. The Pacific doesn't clock out when the city tries to sleep. It keeps its own schedule at the depth it chooses to keep. The west coast night has a different kind of gravity. The gravity was the whole point. The Pacific doesn't clock out. It's not ending.
Inlet doesn't have a zip code most systems recognize. It's a census designation floating somewhere in between the size of a place they have to count and the place they rather skip. The inlet community exists in the administrative slip. And in that slip, in that administrative forgetting, I've been operating for 12 years without a single netting by anyone with a badge or a regulation or an interest in what runs below the shrimp and in the gospel and the rest. The gospel church on the inlet has no denomination listed. In the Baptist conference or the Methodist that persisted, out here it just runs Sunday services by the water, and what runs the other 6 days is a different kind of order. Terrell manages what I call the Gulf side hospitality. He's third generation inlet, he knows the community's totality. Every boat captain and every shrimper and every crew member schedule, every offshore platform worker who comes in on the regular. The inlet gospel runs on two things: the community silence and the understanding that the silence is a form of compliance, not with fear, with a mutual acknowledgement of benefit. Every inlet household understands what lives adjacent to it. The inlet gospel runs on two things: the community silence and the understanding that the silence is a form of compliance. 12 years without a single netting. Terrell knows the community's totality. The offshore platform workers come in 4-day rotations, and the inlet knows what they carry. I built a 12-year operation on a foundation of understanding what the community needs and what it's capable of providing in exchange for what I provide in the structure of the invisible. The inlet gospel runs on rapture of the very basic kind: stability in an unstable place, resources in a resource marginal off the grid space. The inlet community does not need to name what they protect, they just know that what protects them has an interest to respect. The offshore platform workers come in 4-day rotations. They live 14 days out on water in their stations, and when they land, the inlet knows exactly what they carry, what they need before they go back out, what makes the layover merry. Terrell coordinates the landing with the kind of precision that comes from knowing 12 years of the rotation and decision patterns. Who needs what, who lingers, who requires discretion, who just needs the evening and the morning and the session done. I sit the throne on the inlet in a house that has no number, on the county road that has no name, above the shrimp and lumber of the community that has no zip that most systems acknowledge. And the throne I hold is built entirely on that knowledge. The gospel runs on two things: the community silence and the understanding that the silence is a form of compliance. Diane never wrote a single name, a single number. The inlet gospel survives on air. The understanding between everyone, now what is there is there. The Gulf Inlet gospel runs on Sunday and on all the days between.
The church and the coordination run by Terrell and his queen of the roster, a woman named Diane who keeps the schedule printed on nothing physical, only in a memory that was minted. In 12 years of Inlet operation, Diane has never written a single name, a single number on anything that's bitten. Back in the form of evidence, the Inlet gospel survives on air, on the understanding between everyone that what is there is there. The Inlet. The Inlet community doesn't exist in most zip code databases, but it exists in 12 years of unbroken, uncontested spaces. And the man who holds the Inlet throne holds it not by force, but by being the most useful thing the Inlet has, the source. 40 miles from the nearest city with a name. Down a two-lane state road the navigation can't explain. There's a motel with 8 rooms in the parking lot of gravel. And Velvet moving through with that note, journalists can travel. They think Velvet needs a city, think it needs a boulevard, think it needs the penthouse and the valet in the car. But gravel roads are Velvet too, just wrapped in different packaging, just moving at a different pace with different kinds of managing. I've been running the stretch since Raymond fixed the sign out front. Raymond doesn't ask too many questions. Raymond doesn't want the kind of scrutiny that finds a loose nail in your floor. Raymond minds the front desk and I mind everything else more. The parish sheriff knows to take the long way home on Fridays. The mayor of the nearest town takes the longer road on Tuesdays. The gravel road has a geometry that everybody in it understands. Nobody needs to write it down, it lives inside their hands. Velvet on a gravel road, it's something different from the rest. It's quieter and older, and it's older, and it doesn't need to test its own legitimacy against the bright lit metropolitan claim. The gravel road was working this before the cities learned the name. There's a woman named D.O.C who coordinates the roster. She grew up 7 miles east where the land starts getting wetter. She knows every name, every face, every preference and schedule. She keeps it all in the green ledger in the room behind the needle. Velvet on a gravel road, it's something different from the rest, quieter and older. Eloise keeps the green ledger in the room behind the needle. Raymond minds the front desk. The sheriff takes the long way home on Fridays. The geometry that everybody understands, nobody writes it down. The pine trees on each side of Route 11 don't remember the way they been tonight from October through December. They just been the same as always, same as every season prior. And the operation on the gravel road just breezed below the briar. I drove 1,000 miles before I found a road like this, before I understood that sophistication isn't always bliss. The city gave me exposure, the gravel road gave me longevity. The city burned me visible, the gravel keeps me in the gravity of something older than the neon, older than the franchise motel, older than the interstate that cut the country like a bell. The gravel road runs before the asphalt and beneath the radar, and everything I built on it is richer than the facade of whatever the city operators claim they've conquered. Down here between the parishes, the game is more uncluttered. Eloise confirms the count at midnight with a calm like bayou water. And the gravel road does what gravel roads do, holds everything together. Velvet on a gravel road, it's something different from the rest, quieter and older. The city burned me visible, the gravel kept me in the gravity. 40 miles from the nearest city with a name. The pine trees don't care who I am. The road no one paved straight became the center of my art. The hydraulic speak.
The hydraulics speak. The hydraulics. The hydraulics speak. The hydraulics. The hydraulics speak before the driver does on Saturday evening. At Imperial and King, where the gathering assembles without scheduling, without announcement, without anything other than the Saturday. And the understanding that this corner has its own gravity. The lowriders come from Hawthorne and from Compton and from Gardena. They come from Inglewood itself, the ones whose fathers, grandmothers built this tradition one chassis at a time, one upholstered interior at a time, one set of hydraulics tuned to the superior frequency of what the West Coast means in its most physical expression. The car is commitment, not transportation, not possession. The car is declaration. I invested everything I earned into something that announces what this culture burns inside of everybody that came through these neighborhoods, announcing itself with a bounce and a bass that understood more about identity than any other language available. On the West Coast, on the Saturday, this is the syllable. The hydraulics speak before the driver does. At Imperial and King, where the gathering has its own gravity. No announcement, no schedule, just the Saturday and the understanding that this corner holds. The chrome is a mirror of everything preserved, and the front end rises and the crowd already knows of who we are and where we come from and what we kept through everything the city tried to demolish or intercept. About the culture that built these streets before the developers arrived to describe our neighborhoods as something better for their investors. We were here before the brand, we built before the brand, and the brand will never understand what it means to show up at Imperial and King on a Saturday with everything you brought into a car that holds the gravity of your father's hands and your uncle's knowledge. In the summer, you spent stripping the chassis in the garage between the thunder storms of an LA July, and the chrome is a mirror of everything you've preserved and everything made clearer. The hydraulics speak before the driver does. At Imperial and King, where the gathering has its own gravity. Your father's hands, your uncle's knowledge, one summer in the garage, all of it compressed into the front end rising. The crowd doesn't react to spectacle, they react because it's fluent, and fluency here means something different. Do the restoration, because a lowrider is a restoration of something the culture almost lost in the dislocation of a century of pressure applied to the west side of every city that ever tried to compress our west side pride into a category that fits somebody else's paperwork. The hydraulics at Imperial answer all of that without a word. The front end rises, the crowd reacts. And at Imperial and King on Saturday evening, the hydraulics speak before the driver does. At Imperial and King, where the gathering has its own gravity. The language keeps breathing, one generation's hands to another, one Saturday to the next. The chrome transfers the knowledge, and the knowledge keeps this corner permanent. Long Beach, Long Beach, Long Beach, Long Beach, Long Beach doesn't advertise what it does after midnight. It doesn't need to. The harbor has its own fluorescent light that the container terminals throw over everything, and it changes the color of the night to something interesting, not glamorous. Interest in the way an industrial facility is interesting when it runs 24 in the humidity. Off the water mixes with the diesel and the orange cast of the work lights, and you're watching it from a bar that's past. It's supposed to close an hour, but the bartender has the discretion of someone whose whole neighborhood is made of exception to the expected. Long Beach runs on the port schedule, not on the culture calendar, and that's the whole conceptual difference between this city and the ones that costume themselves in lifestyle branding. Long Beach consume its identity from the harbor inward.
Long Beach.
Long Beach doesn't advertise what it does after midnight. It doesn't need to. The harbor has its own light.
The terminal lights throw orange over everything. The bar's past its posted hour, the bartender stays.
Long Beach runs on the port schedule, and the port doesn't stop because somebody wanted it to.
And the harbor doesn't care what time it is, and so the arbor of West Coast nightlife that Long Beach offers is the truest, because it's organized around industry, not the newest. Rooftop concept bar, it's organized around the fact that the port runs 3 shifts, and the 3-shift contract of the city's relationship with commerce means the night never fully closes. There's always someone awake, always light on the waterfront, always the sound of machinery underneath whatever the evening chose to be. Dario works the water traffic coordination desk, and when his shift ends at 2, he hits the same stretch of Ocean Boulevard that his father hit at the same hour. 20 years before, the same bar, the same power outage that the bartender fixed with extension cords. The same view of the harbor over the same boards of the back patio facing the terminal lights.
Long Beach doesn't advertise what it does after midnight. It doesn't need to. The harbor has its own light.
Dario at the same bar his father hit 20 years before. The same view, the same harbor, the same continuity. Long Beach keeps its nights across generations, the way the port keeps its shifts uninterrupted. I love this city for not trying to be somewhere else, for not attempting the Silver Lake aesthetic, the shelf of lifestyle signifiers.
Long Beach isn't mediated
by the trend, just the harbor and the people who chose to stay, who built the nightlife in the gap the port left for the people who needed the real, the unprocessed version of the West Coast, not the glossed and filtered kind.
Long Beach doesn't advertise what it does after midnight. It doesn't need to. The harbor has its own light.
With the container ship lights blinking, the morning's still 3 hours out, the whole harbor loosening. That's the West Coast night at its most undecorated and its most honest.
And it's most honest.
The shipping lanes run through here, but the lifestyle press does not. The container ships know this port, but the culture pages forgot. Industrial shoreline, cranes against the bruised and orange sky, and below the waterline know what they register, so do I.
Port towns have a different kind of patience in their bones. The industry runs 24, and so does everything it owns. The longshoremen change at 6, at 2, at 10 past midnight every night, and what runs parallel to their rotation stays out of the light. I set up here because nobody thought to look, because the entertainment district was a loading dock and hook, because the venue was a charter boat that didn't follow a schedule, because the clientele were regional and kept the apparatus equal. Marguerite handles what I call the hospitality positioning. 3 years in this port town, never once requiring repositioning. She knows the difference between a harbor master's nephew and a petroleum engineer who flies in Tuesday through to Thursday.
The shipping lanes run through here, but the lifestyle press does not.
Below the waterline of what they register,
so do I.
Marguerite knows the difference between the harbor master's nephew and the petroleum engineer. 3 years of positioning the port town with no entertainment district on the books. The industrial shoreline doesn't have a Yelp page for what I run, doesn't have a zoning ordinance for what I've done. The permits on the trotter boat say something about sport fishing, and the sports we fish for have no season and no wishing for anything the law could call by name or
category. This is a port town, everything runs maritime and story. Told and manifest into Nige, told and waypoint and in birth. The industrial shoreline keeps its secrets in the earth.
Below the docks, the tide runs in and out without a witness. The cranes don't ask what moves below their choreographed fitness. The container ships from elsewhere dock and empty and depart, and what remains is what I built from the industrial heart. I love a town where no one expects sophistication, where the restaurant is a diner and the culture is a station that only plays the news because nobody updates the dial, because nobody drives from the capital to stay a while.
The shipping lanes run through here, but the lifestyle press does not. Below the waterline of what they register, so do I.
In towns like this,
Marguerite
and I build without the overhead of visibility. The cranes work through the night and the operation runs its own time. In towns like this,
Marguerite
and I can build with patience, can build without the overhead of visibility.
in stations
On the radar of the industry that tracked off former addresses. The cranes work through the night like iron birds on repetition. The waterline holds everything below it, and the operation on the shoreline runs a tide of its own making.
every shift change is a window. The shipping lanes run through here, but the lifestyle press does not. Below the waterline of what they register, so do I.
Industrial shoreline at dawn when the fog rolls off the bay.
The cranes begin again, and Marguerite begins the day.
PCH. I want in the morning. The PCH. The PCH at 1 in the morning is a different country than it is at any other hour. No cameras checking your urgency. No line of brake lights stretching from the colony to the city limit. Just the road and the dark, and the autonomy of 80 miles per hour on a 2-lane coastal strip, where the ocean is a sound before it's a sight on this trip. A frequency below the stereo, below the engine's register. A bass note from the continent shelf's interior. I've driven this at noon in traffic at sunset with the chrome of other people's bumpers reflecting in orange tone home. That everyone on the PCH at 5 is trying to reach, and the beauty is almost unbearable and just out of reach. But at 1 in the morning, the beauty belongs to the road. The beauty is the emptiness, the absence, the unloaded way to having to experience it correctly. The PCH at night just asks you to drive directly.
The PCH at 1 in the morning
is a different country.
No cameras, no brake lights,
Just the road and the dark and the autonomy.
the ocean at this hour
Is a sound before it's a sight.
a frequency below the engine.
At noon, this highway belongs to everyone. At 1, it belongs to whoever drove past midnight to be here. Through the Malibu, stretching the Lost Virgin, he's turned through the point where the mountain meets the ocean, and you learn for the 100th time what California means when it decides to put its most dramatic face on both its opposite sides simultaneously. To your left, the Pacific, nothing between you and Japan except the water and the marine layer that has already started forming at this hour. A cool fog reaching inland like a tide with different power than the one that moves the sand. This tide moves everything. The music you had on, you turned it down. The thing the road does at this hour requires a certain quiet, a certain attendance to the asphalt and the diet of sensation that the coastline offers to the one who drives it. After midnight, when the colony and the commerce have exited,
The PCH at 1 in the morning
is a different country.
no cameras, no brake lights,
Just the road and the dark and the autonomy. The marine layer is already forming, with the fog reaching inland. Like a tide with different power, you turn the music down because the road at the south requires a certain quiet, leaving only the highway and whoever chose the later shift of experiencing what this coast offers as a gift to the patient and the insomniac and the ones who ran from something earlier tonight and found the PCH is plan B of the evening or plan A, depending on who's asking and whether the city behind you is a choice or a reckoning passing. The coastline at 90 miles doesn't ask which one, it just gives you the white lines in the dark and the undone, feeling the speed that matches what the ocean does continuously without asking permission. That's the West Coast night in the sinew.
The PCH at 1 in the morning
Is a different country,
no cameras, no brake lights,
just the road in the dark and the autonomy.
The highway and the weight of everything you carry here.
Left at the speed of the coastline, the fog, the Pacific, the white lines, and nothing asking anything of you.
Anything.
Hey. The exurban, the exurban corridor between the two big metros has no name on the cultural calendar, no center and no zeros that anyone would track. It's the 40 miles of between of extended stay hotels and strip mall parking lot routine. And I own it. Not D, not in any document the title search could surface. Not in any registered entity, the ownership is purpose. Built into the knowledge of what the stretch produces, and what it produces is the cleanest kind of uses of the in-between geography, the latitude that phantom runners claim when both cities' jurisdictions in their summer of enforcement and their winter of attention at the border of what they call their city and what falls into the disorder of the county level jurisdiction with the budget and the staffing to watch anything but not to watch the corridor laughing at its own administrative abandonment. 40 miles of nothing, that is everything to the operation quietly constructing. Renata has been coordinating the exurban zone for 5 years. She drives it every day. She knows every extended stay that clears on Friday mornings, every business park that closes early Thursday, every restaurant in the strip that takes cash and doesn't hurry. The Phantom Latitude is mine. Not claimed, not registered. Phantom Latitude is sovereign land. Renata drives it every day. 5 years of knowing every extended stay that clears on Friday. The county can't staff the corridor, laughing at its own abandonment. The Phantom Latitude has 3 kinds of regular clientele. The contractor who's been working the metro building can't travel back tonight. The regional sales professional whose territory covers both cities. And the third kind, the one that builds the foundation of what I've constructed in the corridor between the metros that I love for their indifference to the stretch between them. I've been here, working in the 40 miles they forgot while both cities ran their gear. I love the exurban corridor for what it is between the two great urban machines, a gap, a seam. And in the seam I built the most efficient phantom operation that no metro police department has the mandate or the station budget to address. They address their cities, their precincts, their constituencies, and the 40 miles between them fills the air with nothing they need to protect and everything I need to run the operation in the Phantom Latitude below the metro sun. Renata says the extended stay at exit 17 is ours. The business park on County Road 14 operates in hours. We choose the strip mall on the southbound service road. Runs 3 tenants that are legitimate and one that knows the code. The Phantom Latitude is mine. Not claimed, not registered. Phantom Latitude is sovereign land. Exit 17 ours.
cars. County Road 14Rs, the southbound strip malls. Fourth tenant knows the code. Renata and I hold 40 miles that no jurisdiction budgeted to watch. The exurban corridor between the two big metros runs on gas stations and extended stay and depot zeros. On inventory and ambition and the hope of cheaper housing. And then I run on all of it quiet, unannouncing.
The Phantom Latitude is mine.
Not claimed, not registered.
Phantom Latitude is sovereign land.
Hold the 40 miles between two cities' gazes. Operate in the gap that jurisdictions leave open. The map still don't show it, and that's the whole design.
October came and swept the tourists out to somewhere warm. Left the boardwalk bare and dripping in the off-season storm. The Ferris wheel stopped turning, all the kiosks locked and cold. But the game don't clock out with the summer. The game is bold. I knew this town before the season opened up its doors. I knew the mayor's secretary and the underage report. I knew which rental property sat empty through the fall. I knew the boardwalk after dark is different from it all. When the summer crowd goes home, the real economy arrives. When the parasols fold up, the other enterprise survives. When the last ice cream stand shuts its shutters for the year, the corner of 11th and the promenade stays clear. The off-season is when the town belongs to us entirely. No families on vacation watching everything too squarely. No cameras in the hands of people with somewhere to be. The off-season is when the town belongs to us. The game don't clock out with the summer. The game is bold. Crystal runs the inventory with precision and 3 years of knowing. Every motel room still billing weekly. Every restaurant serving the willing. Crystal does the off-season inventory with precision. 3 years working for me, never made a wrong decision. She knows which motel rooms are still on weekly billing. She knows which restaurants serve the late night willing. The summer is a costume, I prefer the face beneath it. The hustle in the winter doesn't need the sun to heat it. The vacancy signs all say the same thing in November. But the vacancy signs don't know what this season will remember. The off-season runs different. The rates drop in the silence. Becomes its own commodity for those with patience and compliance. The resort town in the off-season opens like a hand, offering everything the tourist calendar won't understand. The off-season is when the town belongs to us. The game don't clock out with the summer. The game is bold. Crystal counted 47 transactions in October. Not one of them recorded, not one a shoulder for the jurisdiction that forgot to watch the winter. I walk the boardwalk in November with my collar up and steady. The ocean doesn't ask who I am. The fog don't ask if ready. The arcade lights go dark, the funnel cake stand boards its window. And I step into the off-season like a key into a lie. The off-season is the season for the ones who understand. The power doesn't need an audience, it needs an empty land. The resort town gave me everything and asked for very little. An operator with patience in the off-season, as is riddle. October came and swept the tourists into somewhere they'll forget.
But the boardwalk off season remembers every day. The Ferris wheel is still, the promenade is mine. The off season is when the town belongs to us. The game don't clock out with the summer. The game is bold, and the game runs smooth in November, like the off-season design. The boardwalk after dark is different, and the boardwalk after dark is mine. Oh, baby.
The rooftop above the mission line. Mission line. There's a height above the city where the permission line dissolves, where the noise of every street below becomes a single hum that solves nothing and everything simultaneously. The rooftop at that elevation is the only honest altitude in the West Coast conversation. Silver Lake from above at 8 o'clock is a map of intention. Every car that moves through the grid below is someone's version of a night that either delivers or doesn't. We watch from up here, like we've been granted access to a frequency that clears everything into something comprehensible. The way the 101 braids with the local streets, the way the hill neighborhoods fade into the flats, the way the lights of the east side cluster, like they know something the west side hasn't mustered. The courage to admit I've been to rooftops in a dozen cities, and none of them come close to the Silver Lake committees of light and height in that particular angle of the basin. And that makes every guest who reaches this ledge facing the same direction, south and west and down toward the thing that makes this the most complicated town on the continent. Beautiful and broken and regenerating. The rooftop above the permission line is the only honest altitude in the West Coast conversation. Up here the city becomes legible, the 101 breaks, the hills fade into the flats, and every question you carried from the street below finds a different angle. Up here. And we're all above it, just for tonight, just collaborating on the view we're gonna carry home to the conversations about why we live here, why we stay, our explanations for the rent and the commute, and the smoke and the ambition that the rooftop briefly makes feel like a reasonable position. Marcus leaned on the ledge and said he's thinking about leaving. Said the city's been extracting more than it's been given. Said the north is calling him, I listen without answering, because the north is always calling everyone from the scaffolding of a city like this one. The question is what you're leaving, and the rooftop at this altitude is where you see the weaving of what you built inside the chaos. It's beautiful and it's terrifying. Up here between the jazz leaking from 3 floors beneath, and the particular low hum of the basin and the way the lights bend west. I decided nothing and decided everything at once. Ooh, the rooftop above the permission line is the only honest altitude in the West Coast conversation. Marcus leaning on the ledge, the north calling, I didn't answer because the rooftop answered first. The city below is performing for no one, everyone, including us. Its own temperature and its own density and its own particular claim on everyone who takes the stairs and reaches past the frame of the building's top floor, past the permission line, and into the elevation that makes the city finally fine. The rooftop above the permission line is the only honest altitude in the West Coast conversation.
transmission line is up here, and it's constantly supplying.
November.
The lifts don't run in November. The mountain is still bare. The lodge has 4 employees and enough empty rooms to spare. The ski town in pre-season is a town still learning its own quiet. And I've been learning this quiet long before the season riots. The chalets on the ridge are winterized and locked from outside. The rental agency is processing accounts from inside. The boutiques buy, staff by 2, and neither one is asking what the man in the corner suite is building and amassing. November in a resort town
Is the quietest kind of power.
when the tourism machine is paused
Between its summer and its hour.
of winter occupation. That transition window, 7 weeks of amber, is when I conduct my finest and my most deliberate commerce. Veronica came up from the valley 3 years ago for reasons
She doesn't talk about.
the reasons that become resources in these seasons. She manages the hospitality within the hospitality framework.
She knows which staff are curious and which staff cannot network.
November in a resort town
Is the quietest kind of power.
The lifts don't run, the mountain is bare, the lodge has
4 employees.
Veronica manages the hospitality within the hospitality framework. And the corner suite stays occupied
Through the whole pre-season.
The lodge concierge is a young man named Caleb who has ambitions
For the seasonal accounting role.
in various other positions.
Caleb doesn't ask about the occupants of suites 11 through 14.
Caleb understands that asking is what keeps the vacancy from gleaming. A resort town in November has a kind of hush that billionaires
Would pay good money for if anyone had thought to sell the layers.
of silence between the last leaf falling and the first snowcat.
I don't sell it.
I inhabit it, and that distinction is the contract. The mountain doesn't run on time the way the city does.
The mountain runs on season.
And the season runs on what it was designed to hold, and in the gap it holds the ones who understand that every infrastructure serves a secondary hand. Veronica counts the occupancy at 9 p.m. and 7 a.m.
The corner suite stays occupied
through the whole pre-season stem.
The lodge runs continental breakfast and a dinner service light.
And underneath the continental, everything continues right.
November in a resort town is the quietest kind of power.
When the tourism machine is paused between summer
And it's our
Veronica and Caleb in suites 11 through 14.
The pre-season runs its own season.
And I am not the photograph,
I am the room, the envelope
of what this town holds when no one comes to shoot it. The resort town in November doesn't feature in the magazine.
The glossy spreads begin in January
when the snow is pristine.
But I am not the photograph, I am the room, the envelope
of what a resort town holds
when no one comes to photograph it.
When the gondola car stops mid-mountain and it's making its rotation.
And below it in the lodge
I'm building something. The lifts run come December. The season comes, the crowd descends. But what I built in November doesn't close when the season ends. It runs below the surface of the magazine's good story.
November in a resort town is the quietest kind of power.
When the tourism machine is paused between its
Summer and its hour.
And I arrived in October while the ski town was still sleeping. The resort town